There's no such thing as active recovery, and I'm not saying this to bust your bubble or to tick you off. I'm just saying this to clarify the fact that recovery is not training. It is not doing anything that could potentially disrupt homeostasis, meaning like your base state, right? Going on a bike ride, like this is also where there's some gray into it. Like doing stuff that is pretty easy is just relatively easier than hard training. So therefore it may not be as taxing and therefore could provide some positive benefit if you just enjoy doing it. Like I played basketball on Tuesday morning and I freaking felt awesome afterwards. Was it recovery? Was it training? It was playing basketball, which is a human experience that I really enjoy, and it made me like I could have went and ran through a wall because I just had a good time, right? That's the power of socialization, and that's the problem, or that's the power of playing sports. If I did that all the time, though, it would be like challenging and it wouldn't necessarily be what I would call recovery. Like this is where everything gets into the weeds, right? Like if you like doing something, it's less fatiguing in certain ways from especially a psychological standpoint than doing stuff you don't enjoy. Right? I really do think most of our woes stem from fatigue induced by just stuff that we just don't really want to do, or we feel like it's a burden, or we're just burnt out from other things. I do think a big component of people's physical woes really stem from mental strain, right? That being said, there's also the other end of the spectrum where people really like training. I really like training. I like doing something with myself physically. It's really tricky because people just overwork themselves and they say they're doing active recovery when really you're just doing another workout. You're doing another fatigue inducing workout. And if you don't manage that well, you're actually going to put yourself at greater risk for injury. You're not contributing to positive adaptations as much. And again, it's tricky because to get better at doing more work, you have to do more work. Like there's no substitute for that. Like if you want to run marathons, you're going to have to put in a lot of effort and a lot of time on the road. If you want to get stronger, you're going to have to build the capacity to lift heavy, right? But it's a tricky balancing act that a lot of people stab themselves in the foot basically because they don't get real about what they're doing. And that's kind of the point of this message is you need to get real with what you're doing. Is it really something that is active recovery, or are you just trying to outwork your anxiety? Is it really something that's going to benefit your training overall, especially in your more long-term goals, or is it just managing, the fact that you want to go train? And, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, but you got to look at it in the aggregate and see if it's helping you get to where you want to go. So just remember, there's no such thing as active recovery. There is activity that may be beneficial, but if it is at all fatiguing, you have to start to look at it like training, right? And if there is benefit to like general activity on rest days, but you don't necessarily want to get yourself into a sticky situation by like saying, I'm just doing active recovery, and it was a 5-mile run and a metabolic conditioning workout that you would call like easy, but it was still tough. So just take that into mind. Appreciate you. That's all I got for today. Peace.